Hi everyone, my name is Shay and I am a marketing and branding consultant and also a YouTuber, I guess. If you're new here, welcome, and please hit the subscribe button. If you are a regular subscriber, welcome. Today I just wanted to talk to you guys about manifestation and the law of attraction. So it sounds like, it sounds like magic, it sounds like mystical stuff. But before I get into it, I will give you guys a couple of Bible verses because I'm a Christian. I don't know what religion you are, but I'm a Christian and the Bible actually supports what I'm gonna get into in this vlog, okay? And the title of the vlog is probably gonna be, how I manifested my husband, or, law of attraction, how I manifested my husband, that kind of thing. But I actually did manifest this man into my life. So sit back, relax, enjoy yourself, grab some popcorn, grab some wine, grab some Hennessy or some Hennessy VSOP. It's the baby one. I should be a Hennessy brand ambassador at this point, but that's another story for another day. Okay, so the first verse is, where is it? Mark 11:24. Therefore I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it and it will be yours. That's the first verse. The second verse is, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. That's Proverbs 23:7. Okay, so the third verse is, death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. Proverbs 18:21. Let's see. So shall my word be that goes out of my mouth. It shall not return to me empty, but it shall accomplish that which I purpose, and shall succeed in the thing for which I sent it. That's Isaiah 55:11. Truly I say to you, whoever says to this mountain, be taken up and thrown into the sea, and does not doubt in his heart, but believes that what he says will come to pass, will be done for him. Mark 11:23. So these are just a couple of scriptures. I'm sure there's a lot more about prophesying and speaking things into existence. So you're going to hear a bit of noise because I'm trying to grab my book. Okay. So basically, just a bit of backstory. Oh, I guess this is like a story time. Yeah, story time. I'll add that to my title. Story time. How I manifested my husband. So I have this red book. This red book is so important to me. I've been writing in this red book, or as some manifestation people call it, scripting. So I don't really bother myself with terms and technicalities. I just do what works for me, and that's about it. So essentially and I'm going to give you like my understanding of manifestation is pretty much putting out there what you want, and the universe or the higher power or God or Jesus or Allah or Buddha or whoever it is you believe in, bringing it back to you. And I believe words are very powerful. I believe your thoughts are very powerful. I believe what you put out there will surely come back to you. I believe in all of that. So as you can see, I started scripting or writing down my stuff. I don't know if you can see it. Back in 2014, I was going through a bit of a rough patch. I can't even remember. But I'm sure when I read, if I read the book, I'll remember. So I had this book. I can't remember who gave it to me or where I got it from, but I would like write to God. It was kind of like a prayer journal, but I would also write the things that I want to happen in my life. I would write the things that I want to come to pass. So it was kind of a way for me to communicate with God, but without speaking, and as time went on, sometimes I would forget to write, sometimes I would remember. But anyways, back in 2015? I can't even remember now. It's so long ago, so irrelevant. But back, I think in 2015, I went through like a horrendous, 2016, I went through like a horrendous breakup. And it like shook me. Like I was shooketh. And like with the way things just like went downhill. And the funny thing was that like it was a toxic situation, but the person I was with wasn't necessarily the toxic person, but it was just like things around and people around that were toxic and like literally affecting my mental health. Like it was one of like the lowest points of my life. So I remember scripting and like writing my feelings, writing my emotions, writing, you know, my anger, my pain, my sorrow and everything. I would just write it down. And when the relationship was kind of like coming to an end and things were still sort of like dragging on, I got to the point where I vexed and I was like, you know what, enough. You know, I wrote a letter to the Lord and I was like, I'm not doing this again. You know, like when I meet my, like I wrote down, you know, when I want to meet, like when I say I wasn't doing this again, I meant in terms of dating and entering one chance again. Like I was not looking to enter one chance again. Like I'm not doing this, like I can't take another heartbreak. So I wrote down to God, like my letter to God, and I wrote down every single detail, when I tell you detail, that I wanted in my future husband, and I was not willing to compromise. I was not desperate. Like if I was going to die single, I was not desperate. I was not looking to bend. You know, I had my, like, obviously there are times where you have to compromise on certain things. But I had my deal breakers that I was not willing to, you know, bend on. And I wrote a very detailed list of what I wanted in my future husband. And I'm just trying to find it for you guys. It's quite an interesting list. When I look back, I kind of laugh. And usually when I script, I put the date and the time that I write the things down. And this is important for the next part of my story. I can't even find it again. It's somewhere here, Sha. So basically, I wrote down all the details of what I wanted in my future husband, how I wanted him to be, how I wanted him to treat me, how I wanted to feel, you know, in my relationship, you know, how I wanted to feel safe, how I wanted to feel peace, and all those good things. And so when I actually met him, or when I was introduced to him, funny enough, I was living my best life. I was turning up in Lagos, like streets. I was scamming, like I was going out on dates just to eat free food and drink free drinks. You know, I was just out in these streets, and I wasn't ready to date anyone, which is so funny. And I had even forgotten I had written these things down because I wasn't in that space where I really wanted to date anyone. And see, I'm still looking for this thing and I can't find it. But anyways, long story short, I ended up meeting my husband. And although I was just trying to live my best life, I wasn't even trying to be in a relationship with anyone. But it got to the point where we kept hanging out, and he was really serious about me. So I was like, hold up, wait a minute. And I actually went back to my book, and I noticed he, you know, checked off like 90% of the things on my list, and the 10% he didn't check off, it was stuff that, you know, we could work on. And I was like, okay. And the thing was that he was so serious. Like, he was telling people, like, this is the person he was so confident, so serious. Like, this is the person, I can't find it. I finally found it. So yeah, he was telling people, like, this is the person I'm gonna marry. He would introduce me to his friends as, you know, his future wife. And I was just like, you know, men has come. So anyway, so I had, so by the time I realized, okay, this is actually serious. Okay, he actually checks off things on my list, and of course a bunch of other stuff. I went back to my list and I looked and I was like, okay, check, actively pursuing God, check, educated, check, this, check. I was like, okay, all right. And my list is so detailed, like so detailed, that if someone saw my list, they would say it was impossible. But I kid you not, every single thing that was my non-negotiable, every single thing that was important to me is a quality that he has. And he's like one of the kindest people you would ever meet, like the kindest, sweetest, most genuine person you would ever meet. And his family is amazing. His family is like my family. It is unreal. Like, you guys, when you're writing your, if you decide to write a list, like a prayer list, and you want to manifest something, or you want to, you know, be very detailed, because you can have an amazing man and you can have terrible in-laws. So I even put in-laws in here. Like, I have the best in-laws ever, and I have a lot of in-laws, and they are all amazing. They treat me like they've known me forever. They treat me like their sister, their cousin, their child, you know. And so yeah, I truly believe that because I put it into the universe, because I wasn't, you know, desperate or doubting, like I had zero doubts that this was possible. Like I had no doubts. Like I knew I was going to get exactly what I wanted, and I wasn't obsessing over it. Like I wasn't going up and down looking for this person. Like I wrote it down, I gave it to God, and I left it alone. And I think that's one of the principles of law of attraction or manifestation. I'm not sure, but this is just how I do it, how I did it. And yeah, so that is pretty much how I manifested my husband. And I will tell you guys something very interesting. So you know how I mentioned that I always write down the date and the time. So on my, like I have it here, I don't want to show you guys too much because it will show my list. But let me see if I can show you without showing too much. So on my list, I wrote down this list on the 22nd of September at 8:26 p.m. and this was in 2016. And I kid you not, guys, on the 22nd of September at 8:26 p.m. I was actually on a date with my now husband. We were on our first date. So I don't know if you guys can see it, but here it is. So yeah, and funny enough, I didn't even realize this. I was looking through a couple of months ago, I was looking through some of my old pictures. I think I wanted to post a throwback Thursday or something of that nature. And it just crossed my mind. Like, I saw the picture of when we were on our first date. It's not a picture of the two of us. It was a selfie I took because I went from work to hang out with some people and then went on our date. So I still remember what I was wearing, what wig I had on. And I took a selfie that day, and it was dated September 22nd because that's when I took the selfie. And our date was in the evening on September 22nd. Like it was at night actually, because we hung out at some lounge. So yeah, how weird is that? I wrote down the list of exactly what I wanted in my future husband, and on September 22nd, 2017, I was on my first date with my now husband. So I don't know what to tell you guys. Manifestation, law of attraction, speaking things into existence. I don't know if you believe it. If you do, good on you. If you don't, good on you. But I definitely believe in putting out there what you want to come to you and believing it and letting it go, and it will definitely come back to you. I have many other stories on things I have manifested into my life by writing it down, by thinking about it, by visualizing. Another thing I did was I actually used to visualize what my husband would be like. I would feel it in my heart and in my soul, and I would just be so excited, you know, about it. Yeah. So yeah, I've manifested a bunch of other stuff that logically and on paper, you would be like, that's not possible. You know, like I have this amazing condo apartment that if you look at the details on paper in terms of how difficult it is to get housing in Toronto, it's almost impossible, like considering the fact that I hadn't been working for a long time and all that good stuff. So getting this house, this specific house with this staircase, I manifested it into reality. I'm not kidding you guys. Even down to my car, my exact car in the exact color, I manifested that as well. This is not a bunch of mumbo jumbo. Another thing is you can't just wish and woohoo, you know, and things will appear. You also have to prepare yourself to receive it. So for example, I was in the right headspace to meet my husband. If I had met him and I wasn't in the right space, if I wasn't prepared, like if I wasn't bringing stuff to the table, he would have run away from me, you know. So yeah, that's basically it. If you guys have any questions, I will try to answer it. So just drop questions in the comments. You can always follow me on Instagram at ShayIsVeryBusy, the same as my YouTube title. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share this post, and I will see you guys later. Bye.